Good, beautiful day, and welcome to Saturday's edition of Supernatural Saturday. It is Saturday, and we are ready to roll here. Let's see. Just give us a moment. May the 7th. Get that open. So today's meditation, we're blessed and fortunate enough to have the energy of the Divine Collective and Master Jesus present with us today for today's meditation. And it's the subject is considered the quietest mind, and the meditation is going to be based on the idea of the quietest mind. Master Jesus says, people cannot hear if their minds are too busy talking. People cannot hear if their minds are too busy talking. And most people don't know how to distinguish between their minds and themselves. And that's one of the biggest problems that is being faced by God's children today, is the reality that we do not know how to run our own minds anymore. We're now letting our minds run amok with all kinds of ridiculous ideas. And so I want to say good morning to everybody. Welcome. As always, what happens on this channel is about the Ascension Movement. Humanity has an energetic event occurring right now in time and space. We can see the planets, the sun, the galactic system are being affected by these energies that can only be utilized in one of two ways, positively or negatively. There is no neutral way. You cannot be neutral in this process. You have to either elevate yourself up, or you're going to lower yourself down into more negativism. These energies that are coming from the divine source literally give each and every one of us an opportunity to awaken ourselves to a greater possibility of our being, not simply being limited to the confines of our physical body, but letting our physical body being directed by the nobility of our own soul. That part of you that is able to distinguish between thought, emotion, matter, time, and space, and recognize yourself as the divine creator that's able to induce changes in time, space, and matter through your deliberate and intentional utilization of the energy that we call emotion here. Emotion is energy in motion. My guardian angel John told me several months back that all emotion directs matter. Emotion organizes matter. It is the fifth state of energy. It organizes the molecular structure of plasma, atoms, electrons, solids, liquids, gases. Emotion, when put into any field of energy, it begins a process of organization. And science has not yet recognized this fully. They're beginning to understand the correlation between the movements of matter and thought, especially with relationship to health, that a sustained idea with a certain quality of emotion can induce changes in our biological system. That's mastery, being able to go to that place. Yes. He's saying it's really important you understand that you cannot hope to achieve mastery if you cannot run your own mind. If you cannot get your mind to be still, you will never find mastery. How could you ride a horse that did not want to be ridden? You could not. You'd have to train that horse until it could be ridden. And for those of you that wish to hear the truth of these words, or any truth at all for that matter, your mind must be still so that you can hear. So that you can hear. For your mind only hears what it has been taught to hear, what it has been told to believe, and told not to believe. And very few of you stop to question what you've been told to believe or told not to believe. And in that lack of questioning, you have no authority over your mind. It rules you. And those who understand how to run their minds can rule those that do not understand their minds. And this is another condition that we see happening on the planet today, where there are some individuals that greatly benefit from these dynamics of their own authority over others rather than their authority over the dispensation of love and compassion and kindness. The simple adjustment to your educational systems would loan itself to an extremely rapid evolution of humanity, far greater than any of your technologies will ever aspire to acquire to. Your technologies are temporary at best in regards to time and space, but the eternal nature of your soul transcends time and space, and even your experience of this physical medium of expression has a subjectivity to your awareness, and you get to change from one form to another as you go in this process of learning. But for those who have knowledge, let them share it, and for those who do not have knowledge, let them receive it. Are you willing to give that which you know from love, from truth, from compassion? Are you willing to give from love? In the silent mind, learning begins. In the early stages of biological incarnation, you see the process of childhood where the mind is totally open, willing to receive knowledge and information that ought to be of good value and good meaning and good sense and good reason. And unfortunately, that is not the case to a larger extent. To a larger extent, it is that those individuals are given information that is of little or no value in the process of creation, little or no value in terms of how one can affect their health and their environment through the use of emotion, which derives all behavior from itself. All behavior is born from emotion. Inspirational thought, destructive thought, all arise from this substance called emotion. And so these little ones receive all this knowledge of uselessness, and by the time they hit what you call their teenage years, they can feel the uselessness of their mind, and they think that they are useless, and they are not useless. What they have been given is useless. The information and knowledge that many of these children are being given is useless. But to teach a child how to quiet its mind, that it can instruct its body to function in a most remarkable manner, to give them understanding and knowledge that there are fundamental things that the body requires that they must learn to give it, not just simply shove things into that child's body because you think it just needs to be fed, but to provide for that child a knowledge and an understanding of what is right for its body. To not arbitrarily think that you know, but to really come to understand that you can know and you ought to know what is right to impart to these little ones. And your educational system is misstructured and as misguided as it is in so many respects, is still the perfect apparatus for repurposing the dispensation of knowledge so that humanity can make a significant transition in its consciousness as an act of will and choice, and not as an act of force and fraudulent considerations. To teach a child that it can still and quiet its mind. To teach a child the value of nature, to understand its creative potential, to give it a way to recognize its own natural inclinations to express its divinity. Is not that what is more preferable to give in terms of knowledge and understanding to a child than to simply shove things in it because you think they are good, because they might taste good or smell good or sound good? But for now, for those of you that understand these words, please understand when this mind is quiet and still, that is when you will hear. That is the only time you can hear, is when your mind is still enough to hear. With a mind that is busy and rampant, like a crowded room with many people talking, it is difficult to isolate or hone in on a specific conversation without having to struggle. But when you train your mind in the simplicity of stillness, you will begin to find peace, and your body will begin to find peace. Understand this, that when you awaken from the noise in your own mind and decide, this is not who I am, this noise, these thoughts, these memories, these are not who I am. They're simply information that I've labeled myself as being, but that is not what I am. And as you come to that awareness, you place yourself into the interesting position of being able to direct your mind to be still. And when your mind becomes calm, your body follows suit. For as above, so below. As below, so above. If you place stresses on the body by putting things into it that are not conducive to its optimal functioning, if you put thoughts in the mind that are not good for its optimal functioning, then both of these affect the other. And both of these depend upon you to operate them correctly. Like any vehicle that you have in this modern world, it needs to be operated correctly. And if you do not understand the vehicle, then you will not be able to operate it correctly. But the starting point, this place where humanity is, where all of this great love and light and energy is coming to this planet from many dimensions and many beings, from many times, from many spaces, coming here, the simplest starting point for the vast majority of you is learning the simple process of teaching your mind to be still. And in that learning, you will come to understand that you are not subjective to your thoughts. You're not subjective to your memories. You're not subjective to the concerns you might have for a future that has not yet arrived in your life. You're not subjective to any of these, but they are indeed subjective to you. To know that you can assert a very specific authority, to turn to the thoughts in your mind and say, shh, be still, be still, be still, be still. To know that you have this authority. That even when the room is screaming and yelling and there's so much distraction going on in your mind, that you could stop and say, be still, be still, be still, be still. As you come to this understanding, as you come to the experience of the effect that you can cause simply with the words and the breath combined, that be still, be still, be still, be still, be still. And as the noise in the room begins to quiet under your direction, under your insistence to be still, to be still, to be still, as that unfolds and becomes more apparent to your awareness, as you begin to see the mind growing quieter and the body through the breath becoming calmer, now you are arriving home, where you are now moving into the house and saying, I have come here to clean this house, to make it worthy of my presence. Is this not what you need to do? To make your mind and your body worthy of your presence, that they are open and receptive to you, that they are responsive to you, that you are not subjective to them ever again. When you make that distinction, that you are that which is not the thought, that you are that which is not the body, that you are the utilizer of both of these components of creation, then you find yourself in the position where you are able to liberate yourself from what was before and what is yet to come, to establish in this present moment what is your true will. If that be love, then that love will be something different than what you may know now. Love is not the acquisition of things or people or sensations, although many of you believe that's what it is exclusively. They are simply derivatives, perhaps, of that vibration. But love is a state of knowing that you are a divine creator, that you are able to consciously, deliberately, and intelligently assert an authority over your conditions of time, space, and matter for the purpose of learning to understand your role in the process of creation. And your love may be translated into an expression of art, or an expression of words, or an expression of dance, or an expression of parenthood, or an expression of building, or an expression of cleaning, or an expression of traveling. Your love can take many forms, but how can you know the form that your love would take if you do not know your love? That you are that love that you seek. And in establishing the quiet mind and the still body, you begin to come closer to that which is true and further from that which is false. Not to say that there is not useful information in your mind and certain things that your body has been taught that are not beneficial to them both, but simply to say that when these instruments are still and open and receptive to your awareness, when they are that way, you have a different perception, a different experience of your being than you do while trying to figure out who you are through the crowded room of thoughts and memories. And again, thoughts and memories have their value and their place, but when they dominate your ability to select and choose and create, then they need to be placed into a very different order than they are if that is the case for you. But that order can be established fairly easily if you understand the simple principles that your thoughts are not who you are. They're information that you have acquired from your experience through that body of the five physical senses. And that process of differentiating between your awareness and your thoughts, your awareness and the emotions that those thoughts generate, for each thought produces an energy, an emotion of its own kind. And so, if you do not understand how to control or direct or still your thoughts, then they will produce energies after their own kind. So a thought of love will produce a quality of energy. A thought of fear will produce a quality of energy that you call emotion. And when that system of thought is allowed to run on its own, then let us pray that most of your thoughts are good rather than negative, for you will be at the behest of them. If you understand the fact that you are the awareness able to say to these thoughts, be still, able to say to the body, be still. You have this authority. No matter what you have been told or taught to believe, your emotions are the substance granted to all to create with. That as your mind goes still and quiet, so too will your emotions. As your body is released from tension and concern, emotion goes still and quiet even further. And as you experience your emotion going quiet and still, and your thoughts becoming calmer and less active, as a result of your instruction to them, you're instructing it to be still. To be quiet, to be peaceful. And as you instruct your body to relax and be open to you and only you, as thought becomes quieter, calmer, and more peaceful, you begin to awaken. You begin to feel different than what your thoughts and your emotions would tell you is the truth. You are the truth, your awareness, when you begin to experience the vibration of what you are as that which is independent of thought, emotion, and biology, but also the director of these things. When you come to this awareness, there is a sensation of feeling called excitement and freedom, for you are no longer subjective to the ebbs and flows of whatever thoughts you have in your mind or whatever thoughts the world would cast at you, and whatever fears or frightening things that others would have you choose to focus upon, you would turn away from them, for you understand the nature of their effects. Love does no harm. Love does not hurt. I have said these words before. Love does not hurt. Love does no harm. To believe otherwise is to believe a lie. That many of you believe that there's a neurotic expression of love in the form of expectation and demand that one should be or do a certain way with you because you wish it. That is not love. Or that you should have to be a certain way because others would demand that of you. That is not love. That is not love. That is control. That is power. That is fear that believeth that it will not have what it desires. In love's true state, in your true state, you will lack for nothing. In your true state, love does no harm. And what you will say and what you will do from that state of love, which requires that you be able to quiet the ebbs and flows of your mind enough to experience yourself, as we've been instructing here today. It is not to be perceived as complex. It is very simple. And we have had many say to us, well, my mind is so noisy and my emotions are so out of control. And we simply say to you, it is not because there's something wrong with you, or there's something wrong with your mind or your emotions. It is simply a mind and emotions that are untrained or poorly trained by the world, as so much confusion exists in your education that does little to teach children the value of who they truly are and what they're capable of. But in that moment where you can establish authority over your thoughts, loving authority, not I'm going to stop this, I don't like this. It must be simply to say, be still. Be still. And through the utilization of your word, be still. Be still, be still. And the utilization of your breath. Be still, be still, be still, be still. As you come into a greater sensation of the effect that you may intentionally cause in establishing silence in your mind and stillness in your body, you come to a very different awareness of who you are. And what then would you introduce into your quiet mind? What would you then invite into that sacred space of silence? Would you invite the fear you have of the future? Would you invite the sadness you have of the past into your silence? Or would you remain in the silence and consider, what future shall I conceive in this silence? And in that conception, that very conception, I will conceive a future of excitement. Even if I do not know what it is, I shall conceive that there is such a thing. Even in that conception, you begin to give birth to it in that space, as easily as the first thought placed into the mind of your body when it was a child was the first seed that formulated the conception of your personality that you think you are at this moment. That first thought, we will name him Jacob, or we will name her Mary, and that becomes the first seed upon which the tree of your personality is built. But that is not who you are. That tree, that personality that you have is not who you are. It is simply a fabrication of the world. And if you are hearing these words and you understand what has been said, if you have been following the practice as we've been describing it, then you are experiencing silence and you're still able to hear what we are saying. And you will recognize that what is being said is not so disturbing as listening to your news stations or hearing about the gossip of others or watching these things on television that simply tell you to be afraid. That no longer exists in that place of stillness. And in that place, you have dominion over your house. So will you do this with us? To simply instruct your body to breathe. There is not one among you on this earth that can understand these words, that this meaning shall escape you. You will understand this when we say you can direct your body to breathe thusly. You can direct your body that when you breathe thusly, that you can direct it to also release tension. You become the director with your breath. This is a foundational step that through conscious, meticulous attention will give you the awareness that you do indeed, even by the act of that single breath, have authority over this body, far more than you realize at this point. But this first step in authority is perhaps the most important for some of you, to breathe and direct the body to breathe very specifically, thusly. To know that you are directing the body to breathe thusly, and that when it breathes thusly, as you release the breath from it, you direct the body to relax. You simply direct it to relax with that thought. You breathe thusly, and you tell it as you release the breath from your body, relax. And as you continue to breathe thusly, it gives you experience and familiarity once again with your role to direct the body. In the process of directing the body to relax thusly, even the mind is influenced and affected by the actions of your body. When you direct your body thusly to relax, so too the thought of the word has a meaning that the mind also receives, so that as you breathe thusly, directing the body to relax, so too the mind begins to respond even to the thought of that word, relax. It begins to experience that, and you become aware that the thoughts in the body are beginning to subside in their activity. If they're overactive, especially, you'll notice this difference more profoundly. For when you deliberately assert your authority to direct the body to relax, and you use your authority to direct the mind to relax, to be still, to be quiet, to even think those words, gives your mind instruction. Just as to use your breath to direct the body to relax, gives it an instruction that it follows if you are persistent. With each breath, with each clearly formulated thought, that the mind is to be still and quiet as you breathe thusly. The body relaxes, the mind becomes still and quiet as you exhale. And the exhale becomes your suggestion to your mind and your body. You're now giving your mind and body a suggestion for it to become still and quiet. And as easily as you may take a glass and tell your body to bring water to your lips, so too will your mind receive these words. Be still. Be still. It is okay to be still. I am with you. Those words to your mind, you will be surprised as you breathe thusly, directing the body to relax as you exhale and telling the mind, be still. I am with you. As you repeat this simple foundational step, as you begin to experience, to whatever degree that you do, that your mind grows quieter, that your body becomes more relaxed. And if there are emotions that are there that seem to not wish to depart, simply give them your permission to be still. Gently, lovingly give those emotions your permission. Be still. I am with you. Speak thusly to your emotions. Speak thusly to your mind. Speak thusly to your body. Be still. I am with you. And allow yourself to experience what alters and changes in this function you perform towards your mind, your emotions, and your body. Like being introduced to something new for the first time for some of you. Whatever you may experience that is different than what you've experienced before, this is good. That your body, even to a smaller degree, relaxes. That your mind grows somewhat quieter than it was before. That your emotions, under your suggestion, be still, I am with you, begin to respond to you, and you feel that response happening. It is but the beginning of what we call mastery. That place where you're no longer subjective to the directions of the world around you. You now begin to align yourself to that light within you, that light which made you. For you have heard it said that the kingdom of God is within you, and there is great truth in this. But you must choose to recognize it, and you cannot see it if you are not looking at it. To direct your mind to be still and peaceful, to direct your emotions to be still, I am with you. Through your breath, to direct the body to relax. You create a space within your own consciousness that liberates you to some degree from the subjectivity you have to the environment that has been, for the most part, manipulating and controlling most of you without your awareness. But all of you experience discomfort to the degree that your authority is determined by something or someone other than yourself. This process is very simple. in the moment where your mind is still and quiet, and you feel that sense of relief that inevitably comes when your mind is still and quiet and your emotions finally rest, because you give them permission to rest. You give your body permission to be still. There is this moment where silence begins, where peace begins to fall like drops of rain into your consciousness. And then you can receive that peace that comes, that is your right to exist in, that is your right to create through. In that peace, you may create your dreams. You may remember your passions and your loves of why you came to this physical dimension to offer to the world, for you came in response to a call for love. Every one of you came here in response to a call for love. And now you may, in that place of peace, begin to search for, what is my love's expression? And it may be, as was said earlier, that you will write a poem or paint a picture or become a mother or a father or a builder or an animal caregiver, or you will become a traveler. It does not matter. If your love's expression is allowed to enter back into this world will change very rapidly. Do not seek to adulate or emulate others unless they are in harmony or resonance with your love. And you will know these things, for you will feel the truth. In the silence, you can know the truth. In your mind, there is confusion from this world. And your body's confused by that confusion in your mind. And so there's very little discernment between your body and your mind. Only you can establish that discernment. And that discernment in the silence gives you opportunity to know what is right and what is not right. And in that place, you may choose what you will serve. Will you serve love or will you serve fear? But the simple process of your authority to direct the body to breathe thusly, to direct the body to be still, to give your mind permission to be still and quiet, to communicate to your emotions, be still, I am with you, to experience again the divine authority that you have had since birth, to govern your mind and your body in the fashion and nature of your love, not in the fashion and nature of what others have told you you are supposed to be or do or say. You have it within you to know the truth of who you are and how that truth will express. There are many others coming into this world that will be offering the truth in many different ways. There is but one truth, but there are many ways to that truth. This is but one. That process is very simple. If you stay true to it, if you stay connected to it, you will find a liberation of your awareness. Thank you. So this coming Monday, thank you guys for coming out today. I really appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. There'll be no question and answer today. Hi, hello, hi. This Monday is a really important day. We got Lord Metatron's going to be coming Monday on Shortcuts for Your Soul, and it's called Your Psychic Projections, the Good and the Bad. Your Psychic Projections, the Good and the Bad. And that's going to be with Lord Metatron. And that's going to be really fascinating. Your Psychic Projections, the Good and the Bad. On Wednesday, I've got Master Buddha coming, and it's the day to deny your health is to deny your mastery. That's going to be this coming Wednesday with Master Buddha. To deny your health is to deny your mastery. And we've got another event on Friday that's coming up, but they haven't told me who's coming in. It's Authentic Happiness, and that's going to be next Friday. So I hope you'll come and join me this week. I want to say thank you to everybody for coming out and joining with us today. If you want to support this channel, you can do so through my Patreon page. Oh, also, my Patreon, Dion, you were the winner of the reading for this month, Dion. And I sent you an email so you can set up your appointment through my calendar on my website. And congratulations on winning that free free reading with me. I'm looking forward to it. And again, I want to thank all my patron supporters. You make these 4 sessions we do every week that we offer possible to do. I want to say thank you so much to all our patrons and all of those who donated through super chats and who've started now using the thank you supers that come if you're watching a replay. You can apparently donate that way too through this super thing. That's something you click on the conversation panel. If you leave a comment, it gives you that option. And thank you so much, guys. This world is changing very, 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 very fast, and it's going to be amazing. These next few years are going to be amazing in many respects and very challenging in other respects. But the closer you are to the light, the easier it will be for you to see your way through. I want to wish you all much love. Thank you so much. Have yourselves a wonderful and a joyful day. Bye for now.